Knuckleball in there for a strike to Scott Hatterberg, the 5th place hitter in the Oakland lineup. We get the panoramic look at the Oakland Coliseum, the Network Associates Coliseum. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan. Dave Ryan is here with us. Game 2 of this series. Red Sox need a win today. Now, Kevin Millard takes that one himself. And Hatterberg is gone, 1 away. All right, and here is Guillen, and he takes high and tight for ball 1. Guillen did not hit as well with the Athletics as he did for Cincinnati. But nonetheless, he had quite a year overall. 31 homers, 86 runs batted in, and a batting average of .311. He was 1 for 3 in game 1. He's got that broken bone in his left hand. And it put him out for a little while. They were afraid that he might have to miss the postseason, but he got in there at the tail end of the regular season. Even hit a home run in the final week. And he's in there. He's got that Sammy Sosa, Marquise Grissom kind of build-up on the knob of his bat. That's supposed to help that hand a little bit.
Well, it will help. Yes, it'll keep you from rolling over it and hurting the hamate bone again. I thought that was some great information Dave gave, because you know why you would pick, Wakefield over Lowe, because of the pop-ups, the foul balls, and this is a better park to have your pitcher, the opposition hit fly balls in than Boston, So that's pretty good. Being honest with you, I never would have thought of it that way, but obviously Grady Little had looked at statistics and he sees who's the fly ball pitcher and he wanted him to pitch today.
Well, that's why Dave's here, Joe. We didn't just pick a guy because he's good looking. I mean, this guy, he's got credentials. He knows what he's talking about.
Okay.
Now Guillen gets the walk. And he takes the ball.
I don't know how many guys would have thought of doing that with the bases loaded last night, in 2 outs.
And 2 outs.
Right. See, that's the thing. I mean, so, maybe the A's are changing their approach. That little ball yesterday, instead of trying to hit the big fly or something with the bases loaded and have a grand tour around the bases. He did the right thing, for him at that moment. He saw that Bill Miller was back, dropped it down the third base line, they win the ball game. And that's the last thing you would expect from an Oakland hitter, probably.
Well, Bill Miller, by the way, is not back right now.
Right. Well, that changes it.
And going to second is Guillen. Is that one off the glove of Mirabelli, and he may get charged with another pass ball.
But, John, that's what I said at the beginning. Knuckleball pitchers, if you stay close, they're going to make mistakes. And, you can blame this on the catcher, but I don't. Simply because, the ball was up and out of the strike zone and it moved away. It's tough for a catcher already to make the pitch. If that ball is down the strike zone, he probably catches it or at least blocks it in front of him. So, there's just not a lot of margin for error when you are a knuckleball pitcher and in a close ball game.
Hernandez pops a foul back out of play. Ron Washington, the third base coach whom we saw a moment ago, has a sign which is like a suggestion. It's not a bunt sign, but it's a sign that says, hey, if you feel like doing it, circumstances are pretty good for a bunt right now. He says guys almost never end up bunting the ball when he gives that sign, but last night Hernandez did. One hop to the right fielder, and that will get a run home. Guillen is in the score, and the Athletics are ahead 1-0 as Hernandez last night did it with the bunt. This time he gets the base hit. Right now, whatever it takes, that's what Hernandez is doing. And here is Jermaine Dye, and he got a hit. So that knuckleball has been real hard to control this inning for Wakefield. And then Hernandez got him home. Now a hit batsman. 2 on, 1 out, 1 in. And it's a little bit high to Eric Burns, the 9th place hitter. Oakland ahead 1-0. The sun has broken through the overcast, and a gray day has become a fabulous sun-filled day now. Mark Ellis on deck. 1 ball, 1 strike. Panoramic view from high above the Coliseum. There's been a lot of great baseball played in this yard over the years. Unfortunately, there's been some football played here recently, too. That field is a little chewed up for baseball right now. 2 men on, 1 man out. That almost hit Burns, and Mirabelli's fortunate that that one didn't get past him.
Well, one of the problems you have if you're a knuckleball pitcher, when you get the ball inside, you may hit a lot of hitters because the hitter is trying to stay there. He's trying to keep from pulling off because he doesn't know where the ball is going. He's trying to stay there in case the ball moves away from him. And if he stays there too long, obviously he gets hit.
And a foul. It'll go back out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Wakefield, by the way, hit 12 batters this year. He had 8 wild pitches, and his catcher, Mirabelli, had the 14 pass balls. Almost figures aren't really that bad, considering
No,
how tough that pitch is to control.
not the 14 pass balls. That's not that tough, that bad.
That one hit into left field. Ramirez way back there, still going back. It's over his head. He juggles the ball. Hernandez has scored. Dye waves home. He scores. A 2-run double for Eric Burns, and 3 runs have scored for the Athletics. Now a bright sun is shining, and right into the eyes of Manny Ramirez out there in left field. Here is Mark Ellis, the leadoff man, and that's too low for ball 1.
Well, the way they had him positioned, John, he wasn't going to catch that anyway. I mean, that ball was hit to the corner, and he was playing rather shallow. I mean, that seems to be the way they want to play Eric Burns. I was noticing that last night. And Burns hit that pretty well.
And Manny could not handle the carom initially, and Jermaine Dye ended up scoring on the play all the way from first. And Dye, for all the injury problems he's had in the last couple of years, he ran pretty well on that one.
Well, he says he's close to being 100% healthy now, so that's important for the A's.
That one runs inside, almost hitting Ellis again.
Well, like I say, if you get that ball inside, you're going to hit a lot of batters because they just can't. You can't bail out too quickly because you do not know what the pitch is going to do.
Mark Ellis called out on strikes his first time. Burns at second. 1 out. 3-1. Rubiel Durazo, the big left-handed slugger, is on deck, and he's been the hot bat for a while. Not just in this series, but for a while. Trying to put it back together here. The Athletics with 3 runs already in. And that's a strike to the inside. 3-2 now. 24 pitches thrown in this inning by Wakefield, although sometimes you watch a knuckleball throw, you think he probably throw 200 or 300 pitches.
Yeah, I don't think that knuckleball pitcher gets tired after 100 pitches because he's pushing the ball and not necessarily throwing it.
And that is ball 4. Wakefield wanted that call, but he did not get it. 21 homers, 77 RBIs during the season with 100 walks. And it's that on-base percentage, even with the low batting average, that caught the eye of Ken Macher. That's why eventually he installed him permanently in the number 2 spot. 0-2 the count.
Plus, I think it takes a little pressure off of a guy that they brought over here to be the big RBI man. You move him into the second spot where he can take some more pitches and not have to go out of the strike zone to try to drive in runs. And I think it just makes him a better player and makes him more relaxed in that situation.
I look at him, and he looks
He looks
real
relaxed, doesn't he? And that's with 2 strikes on it and a knuckleball coming.
All right, maybe he was a little too relaxed that time. As Millar feeds the ball to Wakefield. As the runners advance, Burns over to third base, Ellis over to second with 2 down. And that's ball 1. And you saw there, Mirabelli had a hard time. He didn't catch it so much as he stabbed at it.
Again, it just puts more pressure on him. It's like when you get a man at third, you put pressure on the infielders, too.
On the other hand, he's a very handy man to have in the staff because he can start, he can relieve. I mean, he can do all kinds of things for you. Chavez struck out his first time. This is a big spot. I mean, the Red Sox already have 3 runs home, and a base hit here could make it a 5-run inning. And that's a pretty hefty deficit, even for a club as powerful as the Red Sox.
And with Barry Zito on the mound, it will be difficult.
The A's with 3-run home against the Red Sox in this inning. The Red Sox, who need to get this man out and keep it from getting worse. Burns at third, Ellis at second. 2 down, 2-1 the count. Tejada would be next. That one grabbed by Walker. He drops it and then throws it away. And 2 runs will score. Burns scores, and right behind him is Ellis. Chavez ends up at second. And Ty Walker, with the 1 error, dropping that ground ball and then compounding it with an extremely wild throw. Looks to me like an error. Well,
it looked to me like an error, too, but they may give him a hit and an error.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, maybe a hit and an error. I don't know.
That's a strike now to Tejada.
In any case, the A's have 5 runs.
It's an error all the way. That's the official scorer's ruling. 1 strike to Tejada. He hit into a force out his first time. Well, the Red Sox, the defense. And unfortunately, Walker has had a couple of problems there. He cost Pedro Martinez a huge number of pitches when he threw away a double play ball in the 7th inning of last night's game. Pedro might have been able to pitch into the 8th inning, maybe even through the 8th inning. But that cost him 20 pitches or more when Walker made the wild throw last night.
Now here's the knuckleball, and anytime it starts in on the hitter, you'll see the hitter almost get hit, again, because he has to stay there so much longer than he would if it was a fastball. As the fastball starts there, he gets out of the way because he knows where it's going to end up. See, that one, knuckleball that started at him and moved back.
It kind of broke like a curveball.
Yeah, act like a curveball. So you have to always stay there a little longer on a knuckleball. So if you stay there and it doesn't move back, you're going to almost get hit each and every time that it's inside.
This is the 37th pitch of the inning by Wakefield. And Tejada fouls it off his foot. 2-2 the count. 5 runs are in. And this has just been a disaster. This has been a manager's nightmare of what could happen with a knuckleballer on the mound.
Correct. So look, a knuckleballer always lives on the edge. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, but you know, the knuckleballer needs for his teammates to always make the plays for him. You know, he needs the catcher to knock the ball down with a runner at third. He needs for your infielders and outfielders to make the play.
Chavez took off there, but the ball lined into the glove of Johnny Damon, and the inning is over. 5 runs for the Athletics.